Morning. Just a little video of shows what the farm looks like here, and see what we have to do for morning chores. As you can see, we've got about, I don't know, 3 days of rain around here, it feels like. So everything's kind of a muddy mess right now. But we're going to start off with our baby pigs here. As you can see, they're closed up. I close them up every night. Kind of helps keep the coons out of there, just in case. Kind of helps hold that heat in for them babies. So let's go see them real quick. Guys. Hi guys. You need some water and stuff, don't you? Yeah. So our pigs are still on some milk replacer. They're actually starting to eat some food. So what we're doing is we give them milk replacer once in the morning and once at night, and then they eat an actual mini pig food for 0 to 4 months youth feed. As you can see, they're starting to get a whole lot more friendly. They still aren't too fond of the touch yet, but we're getting there. So you're gonna get in here, little buddy. I actually think as much as they're eating the pellet food and everything, I think we might actually cut it back to once a day. They're 4 weeks old, so they'd still be eating on mama, but it wouldn't be as much. She'd really be pushing them towards the pellet feed. So I think that's what we're going to do. We'll start stepping up the amount of pellet feed we throw in here and maybe cut this back to once a day in the middle of the day. So. Hi, Peter. Peter's our boar, Julianne pig. See my garden back over here. The garden's doing pretty good. Got tomatoes on. Right. Ooh. There. So, actually have tomatoes coming on already. So, but let's go ahead and finish up the rest of the chores. As we drive along here, you can kind of see everything is still kind of a little muddy today, a little sloppy. I know it rained here for about 2 days solid, so I'm gonna head over here, feed the goats and cows. Our goats and cows, we feed them an all-purpose feed, and then they each obviously get hay. So you can see our cows here. Where they at? There they are. Sorry, still trying to get used to this camera thing. So our cows here, this is Nellie. Nellie's one of our heifers. And then Elsie. And then Norman's back over there in the back. There he is. He's got the solid white face. They're Holsteins, so we I don't want them putting on a whole lot of weight, but I still want them putting on some weight. Holsteins, we have the Holsteins for the milk, so we don't want them packing on a bunch of weight. We want to, if you know Holsteins are almost kind of a slim cow to begin with. They get tall and a deep belly, but they never really widen out. So we have our goats over here, babies down there. You can see where I feed the babies outside, so that's why they're all standing there waiting. They're like, hey, where's our feed? So, but anyways, I'm gonna get this done. Be right back to you. So show you here real quick, our two sheep. Got Bella and Alice, or sorry, it was supposed to be Bella and Alice, and come to find out it's Jasper and Alice. I don't name them, that's my wife's doing, so she names the animals. That's what she wanted to name them, and we thought we were getting two girls. It turned out we got us a boy and girl. So I guess raising sheep and having lambs will be a new adventure for us at some point along the way. So I'm gonna head on over to our horses. Our horses, Taz and Sugar, they mini horses. Taz is actually a Shetland. A lot of you remember the old fair horses when you used to go ride around sit on the saddle and ride the horse on the carousel. That's what Taz did. Sugar's just a mini. So a lot of kids like them. Sugar's real loving. They're both gonna head in the barn right now, so you're not gonna see them because they know what time it is. But oh, there comes Taz. He's back out. So this is Taz. He's our Shetland, and our mini Sugar just took off in the barn because obviously it's feeding time. So she's probably in there standing by her bucket waiting. But oh, there she comes. There, you can see her there. She's normally pretty lovey. Say hi, Sugar. So I make sure that every morning when I come out, I always make sure give the animals some pets. Give them some pets, give them some pats. Sugar wants her butt scratched. That's just the way it goes. Don't know why, but that's the way it always is. Let's go ahead and get these guys fed up here. So today, our little project today is because we've had all the rain and everything, we gotta go through and clean stock tanks. Between the rainwater and then sun and everything, it turns them green. So we're gonna go ahead and clean our stock tanks today. The cows, the horses. I'll check these guys' tank, the big tank. Their tank's pretty well in shade, so it probably hasn't turned green. A lot of times we'll put stock tank algicide in there. It's something that's safe for them to drink, so it kind of helps keep it from turning green. Siding day today. our chicks and guineas that we've been raising. Been outside, or been in our run, and our turkeys that we're raising, we're turning them out today for free range for the first time. Been doing pretty good about getting back in the coop and everything, but so we're gonna give it a shot, see what happens. Typically, you know, they stick together, birds of a feather. So, but we're gonna see how this goes. As you can see, them all spilling out. So, that's something new we started this year. We've always had our pygmies since we lived here, but our boars we got this year just for the simple fact that A, I kind of wanted them, and B, it's just more of a diverse thing. Boars, it's kind of nice to have. I'll show you their pen here real quick. It's they've kind of cleared this out pretty well. I'm actually going to extend them on farther. As you can see here, what they've done, pretty well cleared it out. If you look actually behind them and everything, that's how this did look. So what I'm going to do is over in this area over here, I already have posts set out. We'll make a video about this later. I'm going to add on and stretch another, I guess, little pin form paddock, if you want to call it that, and move them over there. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to clean up all the down timber. This down timber in here is actually, it's locust, so we burn wood in the winter time, kind of help control our propane usage. So I'll come in here, we'll cut that up, split it, and then we'll stack it for winter time. But they can see they do a pretty good job of clearing everything out. We actually just added this big buck right here, Fred is his name. We did have a little buckling, but we sold him to some friends of ours with a plan that in 2 years we're going to switch to try to keep that line from crossing with babies and everything else. So we'll go ahead and feed these guys. Same deal, these guys get an all-purpose feed, and then I have mineral up there for them. Big thing, you know, goats need copper, sheep don't, so we try to keep them separated as far as mineral, things like that. So unfortunately right now I got a project I gotta get done. I gotta get a hay feeder built for them. I'm just gonna use some pallets and do it. I'll make a video on when I do that, but right now, unfortunately, yes, I know it's a waste, but we just feed them on the ground. Gotta make sure they have a hay. Ruminant animals, which are goats, cows, sheep, things like that, they gotta have that roughage. So this is just the way we gotta do it right now. We are going to be building a hay feeder, which I'll bring to you later. Their stock tank actually looks pretty good, so we probably won't mess with these guys. Oh, sorry. Their stock tank actually looks pretty good, so we probably won't mess with these guys today as far as cleaning their tank. But go ahead and take some hay over to the goats and cows and sheep. Feed them kind of a mixed hay. Big reason, like I said, is I don't want the cows packing on a bunch of weight. The goats, the big reason why we do a mixed hay is we have a donkey in there. Donkeys, horses, stuff like that, they're not ruminant feeders. So I know it's probably, most people say, well, that's not true, but that's just the way I believe and the way I feel from feeding him before. We try to feed him a little bit of grass, use mainly grass hay for him. I believe it's easier for him to break it down than the alfalfa. So that's just our way of doing that. And then it has mix in it, so it does give the cows a little bit of alfalfa. I know, like I was talking about, hey, I know there's somebody out there who's going to be like, well, that's not the way you should be doing it. I understand there's multiple ways to do it. This is the way we have found out that works best for our farm. It may not work for everybody's farm. So that's just kind of, this is the way we do stuff. It works out pretty good. So go ahead, got them some hay. Now we got to do a check on our pigs. We have 3 pigs that were left over from last year that we raised from, I think they were like 10 days old when we got them. So they're pretty friendly. So as far as like for people coming out and things like that, they work really good. People can get up close to them. They're pretty docile. So that's what we have those. And then we also have our mama pigs that we just got that they open up the quail here real quick. So it's our Cornix quail is what we have. We raise them for eggs and meat, things like that. Turn around and sell them. So anyways, back to our mama pigs. So our mama pigs, unfortunately, I don't have it built yet, I should say. We don't have a water set up for them. So what I use is I have a 25-gallon tank that I got years ago that I put a valve and stuff on and a hose, and it works just, you know, like a nurse tank. I can take it out and fill up their trough and give them a mud hole if I have to. So that's what we do there. Tank filled up here, put the cap on it so I don't lose the water I got. So we actually, when I do this, I make a couple stops. We'll stop and fill up the pot bellies, make sure they got plenty of fresh water. Then we'll head out to the pigs, check them. But that's pretty much it. Our 3 pigs that we kept over from last year, not the mamas, the other ones, they have a water barrel set up. We'll actually set them up. I have a automatic water that I built out of PVC and used nipples, and we use it for them. And then I think what we'll do is we'll take the water barrel and move it over to the mamas. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and get these guys watered and get them set up. Obviously this tank just works on gravity. Flow is how it works. Pressure of the water is higher than where I'm putting it, so it just feeds out that way. Works on the same principle as kind of a water tower in a town is how it works. You can also take it and, like, if I need to move somewhere, if I get the hose above the tank level, it stops. Alright, so we'll head on over here. You can see what I call our market pigs that got left over. Their pen's obviously a sloppy mess from 3 days of rain, but you can kind of see here. hopefully that's for future investment there. We were fortunate enough that a neighbor found that on their property, or had it from years ago, gave that to us. The Mama Hut here gave us 2 of those. You saw the other ones over there with the pot bellies. So we'll just go ahead and get these guys some water here. She's probably about 3.5, 4 weeks out from giving birth. So her piglets will be selling more for the feeder side. Big Mama isn't out here, but she's a heifer. She's stuck back there in the hut. We'll sell hers more on the 4-H and show side. She's actually bred. They're both bred to a full-blooded heifer boar. So here she comes. We'll actually have to probably do a blood test on her, which I'm sure is a video to come. That'll all be an interesting thing. But we'll have to do a blood test on her, just because we didn't get any papers with her. So we got a almost 600-pound pig. She can move that feeder around pretty easy. So we got to move it back a lot. I'm gonna have to do something about that. We're actually going to be separating these 2 out here probably the next week. Big Mama is about 2.5, 3 weeks out. So we'll be separating them out. They'll each have their own hut. They'll have their own water and share. One will each have side of the food dish. So something kind of interesting here, of what I did a lot of research on and read. I read multiple studies that did this, where they increased the salt intake for a gestation sow to basically to see what would happen. And what they come to find out was that the sow actually can carry more milk. It produces more milk, will help carry better, will help carry the milk actually down the teats and everything else. So what we have done with these 2 is I have switched them over to a feed that is higher in fiber. So as you can see back there, they do go to the bathroom more, but they're not packing on the fat, which will give them more room for the babies to grow, make healthier babies when they're born. And then once they're born, I will switch them back over to a feed that will help them put on some weight and everything, because obviously they're going to lose a lot just from birth. So these 2, this Droopy here, the Duroc playing with the hose, this is her first litter. Big Mama back there in the back, this will be her 3rd litter. So kind of see how this goes. Did a lot of research on it, because I'm very nervous about changing feed on animals, or feeding them something that they're not used to or haven't had. So far they've been on it for about 2 weeks, and they've been doing great. The one thing the most important thing there is I am coming out here. I'm having to come out and haul water probably 4 or 5 times a day now, because that increased salt intake means increased water intake. I don't have a problem with that. That's part of farming. If I gotta do that to make sure that I got healthy babies and I got healthy mamas, I'll gladly do that. So that's just something we got to do more. When it gets hot, I actually take my tank and I can spray them down and wet them down. I'll take my tank and I'll drain it into their pen. They're starting to get kind of the mud hole going that you saw back in the market pigs, I guess would be the way to put it. So, but everything's going good so far. Looking probably about second week in June for Big Mama, and probably about the end of June for Droopy. So that'll be another adventure for us to partake in. Give you guys just a little look here of our property. We have a very old timber, I guess would be the way to put it. There is a lot of deadfall that has to be cleaned up and things like that. So our plan here is what we're going to do is how we talked about moving the goats. We're going to continue to move the goats through the property, make bigger pens and bigger pens at each time, and I'm going to send the goats through the woods to clear out the brush. Once they have the brush cleared out, they don't eat. Goats are very picky eaters, so they like the they're actually browsers, so they want the woody kind of, you know, buckbrush, briars, things like that. That's what they want to chew on. So I'll send them through, clean that out, and then what I'll do is I'll actually turn my cows out and we'll move our cows farther down here. You can kind of see how it opens up down here. I don't own all of that, I own part of it. It cuts at an angle across there. So we plan on fencing that in and kind of having our own little pasture area for our cows. I mean, I got 3 cows. I'm not putting 15 out there. So that's what we're going to do there. But you can kind of see there is a lot of cleanup in our woods and everything else. But what I want to do is I want to run our goats through it first. And once our goats get through it and clean out the buckbrush and clean out the briars and everything else, I will then go back through and clean it up with, you know, take the timber out, chainsaw, things like that. So that's kind of plans that we have in the future that I'm sure you guys will come along with. The problem we have though is in some of this is wild black raspberries, wild blackberries, which note that the cows won't eat the blackberries, but them goats will destroy them. So we kind of got to be a little leery of where we run everything. So that's just kind of future plans down the road that I'm sure you guys will come along with. So just kind of wanted to clarify a little bit. When I said something about increasing their salt intake on these mama pigs, on these sows I have, or sows and gilt actually, I'm not talking about I'm jumping it up, you know, 5-6%. I went from feeding them a feed that had a max salt content of 0.5, or no, minimum of 0.5, had a maximum of 0.9. The feed I changed to, and I'm feeding them now, I jumped the max content to 1.10% of the feed. So I didn't jump it a whole lot, but it is an increase to try to help them. There's numerous studies out there that show that, because a lot of people will say that, you know, which too much salt is very bad for a pig if it does not have enough water. Salt in feed can also help a animal eat more, but you got to have that fresh water for them to flush it out. If you're thinking about like market pigs or something like that, big thing with them is fresh water, being able to move, things like that. So that's just, I want to make sure everybody knows that we're not just I'm not just packing them with a bunch of salt here. I'm actually taking it and putting salt in them to help carry the calcium for the milk and help them produce milk and move that milk down to their teats so we can have better pigs. So kind of like what I do every morning, go through, do our chores and everything. It's not strenuous by any means. It can be time consuming. You know, if all the animals need water, like the big pigs or the market pigs as I call them, if they need water in their barrel, it can take a couple loads of that water. So that's typically just about it. Got a little couple projects I talked about earlier today, or earlier in this video, we're gonna get started with. So now on to our stock tanks. Wow, sun's starting to come out. A little warm in this flannel. I might have to take this thing off. So what we'll do is we'll turn the waters off for our stock tanks. Have to dump them out, clean them out, spray them out, things like that. Really dumping my stock tanks right now isn't gonna bother me too much. Amount of rain we've had and everything else. Sun coming out, everything will dry up pretty fast. We have pretty sandy soil here, so we really don't hold water that well, except for like the market pig pen, as you saw. Wow, man, that sun. There we go. So I'll just dump the stock tanks out. It may sit there for, you know, an hour or so, but it'll drain away. We'll get them sprayed out, cleaned out and everything, and then get everything hooked back up. So guys, I just figured out that the footage that I had shot for today actually got erased. So what I'm doing is it's about 9 o'clock at night, calling it a day. Just wanted to let you guys know all the chickens and guineas and turkeys had a little problems. We had to herd the turkeys in. As far as the chickens and guineas though, they ran right in. Didn't have a problem there. But I just wanted to say thanks for watching. Make sure you go down, hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and hope to see you on the next one.